Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to today's webinar on automated social media, the intermediate session. My name is Mickey Taylor, and I'm the founder and CEO of Taylor & Company Travel. I also write 2 monthly columns for Agent at Home and Vacation Agent magazines. Those magazines are free in print magazines that come right to your mailbox with great articles every month on the various aspects of the travel industry. So I strongly suggest that if you don't receive those in the mail, you can sign up for those as soon as you have a moment. I would like to thank everyone for coming. During the webinar, if you have questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat section. I like to answer questions as we go because they're usually content sensitive, and it makes more sense for me to work them into the webinar as opposed to waiting until the end. So please don't hesitate. Okay, someone raised their hand. I have to apologize. I don't know what raising the hand does, since we don't have, I don't make anyone else live to talk. So Jim, if you have a question, please go ahead and type it into the chat box, and I will make sure that I address that. So today we're going to talk about the advanced aspects of the automated social media platform that is included with your Agent Studio website. Now, we all know that social media has taken the world by storm over the last 10, 12 years. And one of the social media platforms that has really taken over is Instagram. And Instagram is especially important for travel because photos sell travel. You post images out over your social media channels, people see the image, ask questions, they start interacting with you. The next thing you know, you're selling a trip to Cancun, Tahiti, Belize. So images are definitely something that you should be using in your social media. Now, in case you're new, I know that there are a lot of people that registered for today's webinar, and a lot of you are new. So I want to just really quick explain to you how I got to to the automated social media section. So the first thing I did was scroll down to the bottom of my website, and this will say admin. So you'll click on this button and you will be prompted to log in. Once you log in, you will be in your control panel. Now, on the left-hand side, you will see about a third of the way down the list, automated social media. So go ahead and click on that if you're following along, and this screen will open up. So this webinar actually picks up where the basic webinar leaves off. And that is really with going through all the aspects of what you can do with Instagram. And we're also going to talk about cues. What is a cue? Why should you use it? So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Instagram, because that is probably where the focus of your questions probably lie for today. So with Instagram, there are a lot of different tools that we can set up. So I'm going to click on Add a Service and then click on Instagram. Okay, so when we do that, there's 4 different options here. The first one is Instagram. Manage your Instagram stream, retrieve analytics, and read and respond to comments in your priority box. Okay, so this is the one that you would use if you haven't already done so. This is the one that you should use to set up posts that will go to your Instagram account. Now, with that being said, one thing that everybody needs to realize is Instagram is not like Facebook and Twitter, where once you set this up, it's automatically going to go out to that platform. And one of the main reasons for that is you can't post to Instagram from your desktop. You have to be on an iPhone, an Android, your iPad, a tablet. You have to utilize the app in order to make posts to Instagram. So now you're probably thinking, okay, well, then what is this going to do? How is this going to save me time? It really is going to save you a lot of time, because at least from my point of view, one of the most difficult, well, it's not really difficult, but the challenging piece of posting to Instagram is coming up with the catchy description. And you can sit, before you go to bed, or you can sit for 15 minutes in the morning and set these up to go out throughout the day. You can set them up Monday morning for the whole entire week. And what that means is going to come in here and I'm going to grab Taylor and Company Travel. Okay. Now, new to the platform is a wonderful upgrade. Okay. If you've played around with this or been on any of my other webinars, you'll notice that there is now a tab behind the original tab. Okay, so the original tab is just like before. It's where you can create your image or create your post, what you want. I'm going to attach, I'm going to go out here and grab an image. Let's go to iCloud and images. It's a little slow. There we go. Okay, I'm going to grab, okay, this is Disney. Grab this image. Okay, now we can put what we want. Disney. I'm not a huge Disney person, so I'm somewhat at a loss. Okay. For the sake of this webinar, that's what I'm going to put. Normally, I would post a ton of hashtags, a little bit more information than that. Now, with the new tabs that they've implemented, watch what happens if maybe I want to post the same thing to Google+, and maybe I want to post the same thing to Facebook. Now you see what's happening? They're adding tabs so that we can click on this tab for Instagram. Now, if you want to add something different to what is going to show up on Instagram, we can type that here. And this is old, it's from 2017, but whatever. For sake of this webinar, that's what we're going with. Now, if I go and click on the Google, you'll notice that it didn't change. It still has exactly what I put in the original message. Now with Facebook, we have more space. You might want to go into more detail. You might want to grab a section of the destination from your website for the destination search and put a little bit more information about that in the Facebook post. But it doesn't make sense for you to do that in Instagram because nobody wants to read a huge bio on a post. Okay, so this is super helpful, and I was really excited when I logged in and saw, a couple weeks ago that they had done this. So super helpful. First time I'm covering this in a webinar, so it is a great tool. I'm actually going to X out of these two. We're going, we're going to stick with the Instagram post. Okay, now, if you're ready to set this up and post this, we would hit send now. If you want to schedule it out, you can hit the calendar, and then you can set up when, what time, etc., that you want this to post. So this is what I was referring to when I said you can work on this for 15 minutes before you go to bed at night, or set these up in the morning, Monday morning, for the whole week. You can come in, and this might be the first one for the 15th, and you want it to go at 10:25. Maybe you want it to go at 10:15 instead. You can click into the field, change the time, and then click on schedule. Okay, now if we go to engage, we will see that we now have one post scheduled. Bump this out of the way a little bit. Okay, if you want to edit this, all you have to do is click on the pencil looking icon. If for some reason you change your mind and you don't want this, want to post this Instagram post, you can delete it. So what's going to happen is this is going to come to you in the form of an email, okay, at 10:15 a.m. next Monday morning. I would receive an email. It's going to have this image, and it's going to have the description. What I need to do from that email is save this image to my camera roll, and I'm going to highlight and copy the description. Then I'm going to go into Instagram. It takes 30 seconds to do this. You're going to open Instagram, click on the plus for which, for those of you that aren't that familiar with Instagram, you click on the plus, that brings up a new post. And this image that you just saved will be the first image that appears in the upper left-hand corner. You're going to select this, click in description, post all of this, and then you can add in everything else that you want, whether it's also tagging people or places, choosing whether you want this to also post on Facebook or Twitter, and that's it. So I've heard a lot of grumbling and feedback from agents saying, well, that's not really helpful. Honestly, I'm a huge social media person. I've been doing marketing through social media for years now. And honestly, it's a huge revelation with Instagram, because nothing like that existed before. So it is a definite time saver, especially when you can go in and set these all up prior to when you want them to go out. Okay, so that was the basics about Instagram. Now, if we jump back to ad services and go back to Instagram, pull this out just a smidge so I can make sure if anybody posts a question. And here again, you can see Instagram post. You will receive a push notification. You can set up an Instagram search and search for posts and monitor those with a particular hashtag. And you can also, these two are kind of combined. And you can auto like the images that the system goes out and likes on your behalf. So what does that mean? Let's go here and set one up. And I love this tool. If you're going to do anything in regards to social media, a few priorities. The first priority should be to set up your Facebook and Twitter accounts in the automated social media feature, because Agent Studio is going to post 3 to 4 times a day on your behalf. So when you don't have time to think about your social media, you at least have the comfort of knowing that there will be posts going out to Facebook and Twitter throughout the day on your behalf. So definitely set those up first. Take advantage of all of that free marketing and that free labor. Because if you don't have time to do it, an agent studio wouldn't be doing it. You would either not be building on your social media presence, or you would hire somebody to do that. When you have an agent studio website, you don't need to hire someone because you have all of this additional help that's already built right in with your subscription to the website. Okay, so I see what this is another, the second thing that you would add is your Instagram, because I took my Instagram from 300 followers to over 1,600, 1,700 followers. Now, I've received bookings through Instagram. It's a great way to build a rapport with people, a great way to start a dialogue, to get people interacting. Now, this used to be all in one screen, so I can see that they've actually made some additional updates since the last time that I logged in, which was yesterday, or the day, I guess the day before. So if you've been on my other webinars about the intermediate automated social media, this and the auto likes were all in one setup. So now they've broken it apart, and you can follow a hashtag, and you can also set up separate hashtags to automatically like images on your behalf. So the first thing that we'll do, I'll walk you through this one, and it's to follow hashtags. And what that means is, we're in the travel industry, so let's hashtag destination wedding. Now, as I type that, you'll see there's this huge list of hashtags that contain destination wedding. If we want to just select destination wedding, you can see that there have been slightly over 3 million images posted with the hashtag destination wedding. So you can select that and save the settings. Okay, so now you can see that I have added another service, and I'm going to go to page 2. Should be the last one that I set up. Now, here's something that I don't like about this, though. I have my personal and my business Instagram set up. Personally, I like the Red Sox, so I like to follow posts about the Red Sox. I like fashion. I love sharks. So those are things that I like to follow on my personal account. So what I would do before is I started tagging these with like TACT, which are the initials for my agency. So I would know when I looked at something that it was for my business. Now it doesn't allow me to put in a description. So let's just go over, we can share and transfer, but we can't give it our own. Now we can. When we go back in, we can. No, I guess we can't. Normally there was a description up here. So, I think I'll be putting in a recommendation for that. I'm not so sure I'm going to like this new way that they've set this up, but nonetheless, we're going to go with it because that's what we have right now. This is what the old screen looked like. Okay, exactly like this. So up here in the description, I would put, if this was for my business, I would put TACT and then hashtag, let's do Bermuda. Okay, so when I look through my list of services, I know that this is my business that is going out and automatically liking images that have been posted with the hashtag Bermuda. I'm going to change this. And some people have asked, why do I have 3 of each? because I've used my personal account for previous webinars and have added them back in again. I actually need to just delete these and do some cleanup on my system, because unfortunately, when I use the demo sites that are made up, my apologies, that's my daughter's dog, he's in here right now. I don't have data in there. So it's really hard and unproductive to use a demo site. So that's why there's 3. I've used my personal website and accounts and set them up multiple times. So I've selected my business. Now I'm going to type in the hashtag Bermuda. And again, Bermuda. Over 1 million images have been posted with the hashtag Bermuda. Seeing in itself the number of posts that a certain hashtag has been used in is rather intriguing to me in itself. As we go on down, the next section is the number of photos to like each time. Okay, this drop-down box, you can have the system like 1 to 6. I always pick 6. The next one is the number of hours you want it to wait in between the times that it goes out to Instagram and looks for images with that, or posts with the hashtag Bermuda. 1 hour to 24 hours in these increments. Of course, I want it to be an hour. Do you want it to automatically follow Instagram users? Yes. Now, it takes it one step further. Do you want it to unfollow those users who have not followed you back within 24 hours? I usually say yes, because if there's some of these people that like to look and see, hey, who unfollowed me? 9 times out of 10, they'll come back and follow you, prompting you to look at their account and possibly follow them back. Pardon me, scratchy throat this morning. Now, the next section is email notifications. I suggest if you're new to the platform, you set this up and turn it on either for a day or 2 or for maybe a week, depending on how many of these you set up. Because what's going to happen, you'll get inundated with emails. I keep mine turned off now, but turn it on just to see how the platform works, and then you can go back in, edit this, and turn it off. And if you do set this to yes, you can put in the email address that you would like to have the notifications sent to. Now, these notifications used to be able to be sent to our priority inbox. However, a lot of people were saying that that was a little confusing, because the only way you know what is in your priority inbox, and I will show you where that is after we finish setting this up, but the only way they knew there were any notifications in there is when they actually logged into the platform. So they have since removed that, and the only option is for you to set up an email account or input your email address in here to have the notifications sent to. I'm going to turn this off now. And the current state, you can pause this or you can keep it active. I still haven't figured out, and I ask this every time I do this webinar, I haven't figured out why I would want to pause one of these. Even if I had thought maybe for holiday travel, you might not want to automatically like an image which has the hashtag holiday travel, but that's not really true, because holiday travel can be any of the holidays, not just Thanksgiving, Christmas. So if you ever come up with a reason why you want to pause one of these, please let me know. I'm curious, because I haven't really come up with any. So nonetheless, I keep all of mine set to active, and I'm going to then click Save Settings. So now what this is going to do, it the system will go out once every hour, look for images with the hashtag Bermuda, automatically like them and follow the person that posted it on my behalf. 24 hours later, if that person that it followed on my behalf doesn't follow me back, then it will go in and unfollow them. So does anybody have any questions so far about setting up your Instagram, how Instagram actually posts, anything like that? Let me look up here. No questions up here. Okay. If nobody has any questions, the last thing about Instagram then that I do want to go over is you can add as many of these auto likes as you want to. Okay, you can see I have a ton of them set up. We do have a question. Let's see. James asks, will this be recorded for viewing later? Yes, every webinar is being recorded. We did, if you joined us back on some of my previous webinars, mostly October/November, we were trying to utilize Webinar Ninja, which was automatically sending you the link to the recording. That platform, as you know, if you were on any, was terrible. So now what we're doing, we went back to Zoom, and at the end of the webinar, I will show you where you'll be able to find the recording, and you will receive, it will be posted within 24 hours, and you will receive an email tomorrow reminding you, here is the link to yesterday's webinar, and you'll be able to rewatch it. Catherine has a question. Hers says, do you tie this into your personal Instagram? I do. I have both my personal and business accounts set up for everything, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of them. I have my personal LinkedIn account set up as well as my business account. I even have my blog set up in here. So the reason why I do that, I do post the same thing at times over my personal and my business, but I also want to build up my personal Instagram following and my personal Instagram account. So like I mentioned, you know, I love the Red Sox. I like the Ravens. You know, I'm a big sports person, so times I want to follow those. I actually, through my personal account, am lucky enough to have a few of the Carolina Panthers players follow me on Instagram, and it did lead to me booking a trip for a relative of one of them. So, you know, depending on what type of travel you like to do, my agency does, you know, from budget up to luxury, but I personally like to do the high-end luxury travel. So, you know, that's a way that I can connect. And my personal account has been active a lot longer than my business account. So I have relationships and followings set up with a lot of different people. So I want to actually access and leverage that for my business. So yes, I do mix them both. You may talk to some people who say, no, I never do that. And that's perfectly fine. I like to give you, you know, share what I do with you and give you the reasons why I do what I do. And then you can assess whether it's a good option and something that you should do yourself. Valerie, yes, it will be recorded, and I will show you at the end of the webinar where you can access it at. Cynthia asked, what is the cost? So if you are on, I believe, the starter package up, starter, professional, and elite, and I'm going to just bump right out here and look really quick to make sure I am make sure I am telling you the correct information about the starter package. It is definitely included with the professional and elite. Yes, and it's included in starter. So if you're on a free website and you want to add the automated social media, it is $15 a month to add automated social media as an add-on. And you can add that feature in your control panel. When you click on add-on or new feature, you will be brought to this screen. Now, everything is blue except for the opt-out of co-op marketing. If you don't have automated social media, that means that you're probably on the free version, and this will be green. So all you have to do is click buy add-on, and then you can add it easily in a couple minutes through your control panel. Catherine asks, in addition to her original question about do I have my personal Instagram account included, or do you need to make a new Instagram account? No, you absolutely don't. And if you talk to Mark, Mark Murphy says you don't need a business account. And his reason for that is he has so many, if your personal account has been set up for a long time and you have that following, use it, capitalize on it. I like to have my logo out there. Now, my personal account, I do still keep personal, meaning that's where I post personal shots. You can see I still post personal comments. I live in Auburn. My daughter is an Auburn grad. She's going to vet school here. We love our Tigers. And as you know, so you can look here. This is my personal account. I'm being tormented about Alabama winning the national championship. So I still like to do that. So I do keep my personal account personal by still posting all of these personal thoughts and feelings, images, my crazy Snapchat profile pics. So I did create another account for my business only because I wanted to show my logo. I want my logo out there and my agency name. But that doesn't mean, oh dear, Mishra, I have to tell you, with the way that game went, it was an epic game. I honestly could have cried that it wasn't Bama and Auburn. I have wanted that matchup for a national championship for so long. But yes, kudos to the Tide because it was an amazing game, definitely. And like I said, I'm a huge sports fan, so even though I might not like who's playing, I love a good game. So definitely, and we love the SEC. Oh, well, great. Then you were very close right down the road, so that's awesome. So Catherine, for those reasons, I like to still post this crazy stuff. So I post all of that on my personal account. My business account, I strictly post business. If I'm on a trip, I will post things about the trip on my business account, but I don't post the crazy stuff as much on my business. So that's how I split it. But some people aren't big posters of personal stuff. So if you aren't, I don't see a problem with just using one. And even if you do, I don't see a problem with mixing business with pleasure and mixing the two in that respect. I will say that this platform has made it very easy to really have multiple accounts. Prior to this platform being integrated into our website solution, I had 5, 5 or 6. I actually lost count of how many additional monthly subscriptions I had just to do everything that this platform now does. Because some platforms never did Pinterest. Other platforms I found were easier to post on, but they weren't as easy to respond and interact with. So I had, when this was integrated, it actually started saving me about $45 to $55 a month because I could cancel all of those subscriptions. So this does make it easier to post out to them, all of the accounts. But definitely it's a personal choice. Now let's see. Susan asks, I have pictures on my computer. How do I get them to Instagram? I'm not, Susan, if you're a Mac person, I am constantly doing this. I text to myself through iMessage. So I will open up iMessage and just send them to myself. Now, if you have a ton, I have mine saved in iCloud, so you can access your iCloud account from your iPhone. PC-wise, I would say Dropbox, which I used to use, and I've since pulled all of my information out of Dropbox because it was easier for me just to pay for a little bit more storage in iCloud and get rid of Dropbox. And I found that Dropbox had some issues with, certain things, the way that they would share files and things like that. But you can send them to Dropbox if you're a PC user. Now, if anybody else is a PC user, yes, Mishra said also you can AirDrop. Very true. I forget about that. I don't use that as much as I should. And yes, if you're a Mac user, you can AirDrop them. So those are a few ways that you can get your pictures onto your phone and onto Instagram. But if you're setting up your Instagram posts through automated social media, you'll want them on your laptop. So just think about that before you delete them all. James asks, we have to post one at a time when you hashtag. James, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. Explain a little bit further, because I'm not sure if you're asking about setting up the different hashtags or if you're actually asking about the posting process. So clarify and I will get back to you. Lynn is asking, new to all of this, can you tell me how to set up an Instagram business account separate from my personal? Absolutely. It's super easy. When you are in Instagram and you're setting up your account, you will automatically be asked if you're setting up a business account or a personal account. And what that does, I have to try to remember. It's been a while since I set mine up. I'm not sure if we get analytics with our personal account, but I know with the business, we do receive analytics. We have the options to create ads from our business account. But when you're setting it up, in the very beginning, you'll be asked if it's a business or a personal account. So hopefully that helps you. If you have any other questions or you get stuck, you can always reach out to me. My email is included in the confirmation emails that you receive for registering for the webinar. So please reach out to me. Okay, Susan is on a PC. Okay, Susan, so other than Dropbox, Susan, I'm getting tongue-tied. Do you use a smartphone, an Android or a PC? And if you do, if you use Dropbox, you can download the Dropbox app, which once you have saved all of your images into the Dropbox, if you open the app, they'll be readily available there. If anybody else on the webinar uses a PC and have any other ideas, I know that I'm not a big Google person, only because I haven't used it a lot. And it seems like when I receive invites from people who are using Google, if I'm not using it, it never works right. So I've stayed away from it because I don't want other people I'm trying to work with to have the same issue that I have. But I know that there are, you can save them in Google and access that way. I'm sure that if you logged into your Google account from your phone, that you would have access to all of those documents. If anybody has any other tips as far as being on a PC, please feel free to comment them so that we can share those out. The last thing that I want to cover are cues. Okay, in the basic webinar for automated social media basics, we covered what the difference is between repeating. Let me go out and grab something that I actually will share out, and I'm going to grab a news article and we'll use that to share. Let me get rid of this, and my news is down at the bottom. So let's look at the post for today. Okay, one of my favorite places, Punta Mita. So I'm going to bring up this article and let's work with this link. And this, by the way, is a lot of what I post. So Agent Studio will post news stories and things of this nature on your behalf. I also, if I'm short on time, I will grab a link just like this and come in here. First thing I do is paste the link so that it pulls up the image at the bottom and a little blurb about what they're going to read when they click on the link. And then up here, we can write a little bit of information, or you can go one step further and just copy a little bit of this info. And then St. Maybe delete this so you're not repeating. More. And on your bucket list. Okay, so when I don't have time to think of what I want to say, I grab articles like this. Now, I also will, at the end of this, put a lot of hashtags. One thing that you can do, I use an iPhone, so I apologize if you're on an Android. I think that it works pretty much the same way, but the terminology I use might not be the same. So I will take general, when I get a bunch of general hashtags, I take them, text them to myself, copy them, and paste them into a note. That way, if I'm posting from my phone, all I have to do is click and grab the hashtags and then paste it into here. I've saved them into Word documents, and you can grab them and paste them here, so you don't have to go through and do, like I always use my company name. There are certain things that you should always use. Southern Agency, whatever those general hashtags are, save them somewhere or text them to yourself every couple days so that you can easily find them. My daughter thought that I had lost my mind when she saw me texting myself something, because I sent it and then laid my phone down and there was the notification. She asked, "Why are you texting yourself?" I said, well, it's better I text myself than text all this information to you and clog up your text messaging because I want to access it later. I use it all the time. I also send myself voice messages if it's too much to text. So take advantage of that. Your kids might think you're a little crazy at first, but they're also a little crazy at times as well. Okay, so here's a post that we can send out. Now, let's go in. I'm going to just pick a couple of these. I'm going to post it to Facebook, LinkedIn, both LinkedIn accounts. And let's pull up Twitter. Okay. Now, and you see that we have the new tabs that pop up. So again, anything you want to add to this for Facebook, definitely do so, LinkedIn and Twitter. Now, what it will do, it's going to just truncate this when it posts it out to Twitter, which is fine for me. As I mentioned earlier, we talked about in the basic webinar about automated social media basics. We will discuss repeat. But today we want to look at cues. Okay, and what the difference is, basically, repeat will repeat a post exactly as it is. You can pick like daily, weekly, monthly, but the one thing that it will do is post at the same time, all the time. So if we post this at 11:11, I do that a lot just because I think 11:11 is a magic number. So it will post every time. If you want this to post weekly on Mondays, it's going to post every Monday at 11:11. Okay. Sometimes it depends on the post and what you're trying to accomplish with that post. Repeating it at the same time might not be your best option. So we have what is called cues. So what a cue is, now you notice when I clicked on the cue, we have settings. So I'm going to click on this because I have a cue already set up. I just call this regular posts. So in my queue, I have posts that quote unquote never expire, meaning they're always relevant. They can be posted any time of the week, the month, the year, and they're still relevant. Okay. I do a lot of affiliate marketing. So those posts, unless it's a sale or a promotion that expires, you can set up a separate queue for those and give them an expiration date. But this queue that we're looking at that I have set up is for posts that never expire. They market the booking tools on my website. They market the specialty travel on my website, the wedding section, corporate travel, different sporting events. I have posts out there for spa and wellness travel, just general posts that are effective anytime. So, oh, it's funny. Lynn says she uses 11:11 all the time. Make a wish, say a prayer. Absolutely. I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that. Now, you can go through the different days. Unlike with repeating, you can't pick what time of the day you want something to post. So on Monday, I have 3 slots. The beginning of the week, Tuesday, I only have 2. Again, 11:11. You can have 7 in here for a day. It just depends on how much you want to put out over social media. So maybe you only want to post once a day, and all you have to do, if you want to remove something, a time slot, just click on the X. Saturday, this you can pick, and Sunday. Okay. Then once you've made your changes, you can click save, And then we can, if I had more than one queue set up, they would show up in the drop-down list. So I showed you the settings. We're adding this to the regular queue, and now I'm going to click to add this to the queue. Now I will delete this. This isn't a post that I normally would add into the queue, but when we click on queued on the left-hand side, you're going to see all the posts, and I still have a lot of posts to set up here. The holidays were extremely busy for my agency, and hopefully you all have been extremely busy as well. So I don't always get to work on setting these up the way I would like, but I will trade not having time to work on this to having trips to book any day. Now you can see all of these. If I click this is a screen grab from the specialty travel page that I have. And that's what this post is about. It can go out anytime. Same thing with my honeymoon registry, which is now I need to update this because they've revamped the layout, so it doesn't exactly look like that anymore. This is the cruise booking tool. I like to show people, hey, you can come here, you can search all the cruise options in one place. So you get the idea of what types of posts. Affiliate marketing that I do, I put those in here as well. Pura Vida, if any of you have been to Costa Rica or have heard of Pura Vida, anything that's tied to travel, I love to market on behalf of. Okay, so these are the types of posts that you can put in a queue that never expire. That's why I called the queue regular posts. Now, I will occasionally put out if I have a cruise that I want to market or a special deal. If, it might only have 2 weeks, and I will create a queue for that and post it the same thing, different times throughout each day, and give it a 2-week period, and then set a reminder and just come in and delete that. But what it does, as many posts as you have in here, say there's 25 in here. If we go back to the queue, and I clicked the wrong button. If we click edit, we might have 25 posts set up, and we have 10 time slots, which there's more than 10 here, but for the sake of the webinar to explain what it does, it will post randomly. It will go through this list and post a different queued post in each one of these time slots. Now, we have 25 posts and 10 time slots. When it gets to the following Monday, it's going to start posting where it left off. Okay, meaning it's going to post 11, 12, 13, and go through. So each time, as long as you don't have the same number of time slots set up as you have posts, they'll post and go out on different days and different times. Okay, and you can also come in here, which I do a lot, and it will randomly mix up the posts that you have in your queue. So changing up the order, you don't want it to get stale, meaning your followers always see the same posts come in each day one after the other. Mix them up, and it's easy to do. Does anybody have any questions so far? I know that they can be a little confusing. The main thing, or the easiest way to remember it, is repeat will post at the same time of day every time you have it set up to post. With the queue, it will recycle posts, and it will always give you different time slots. You control when it goes out during the day. And I love that feature because I forget. Before we had this, I would forget to come in here and I would use Hootsuite or something like that, and I could go in and repurpose myself, but I couldn't set up anything like this where it just continually shares these posts out randomly. So this is a great feature, a great tool. If you live in the north where it's snowy and cold, when the next snow day, sit and, if you get a minute, even though there's a snow day, doesn't mean that all your clients are snowed in. But if you get a minute, this is a good thing to take the time to set up some general posts about your website, the type of travel you like to sell. Get that traffic going back to your website, because that's what's going to lead to bookings and gathering additional names for your database for in the marketing center. We still have a few minutes left. I'm going to, if you have questions, please go ahead and add them. I'm going to show you where you will find the replay of this webinar. My apologies, my throat is extremely dry today. I'm very scratchy. Let's see. Oh, okay, thought that there was another question. Okay, so where we're posting, well, I'm not posting, but Agent Studio, after the webinars, I convert the recordings and send them to Agent Studio, and they post them on their YouTube page. Now, the link that you will receive in the email tomorrow is going to bring you directly to this page right here. And I see, let me see. Yeah, I think he's a little bit behind. He hasn't posted anything for this week yet. So he has 2 to post. Now, they promised me, the reason why I agreed to go back to using Zoom was because they promised me that they would have the replays up. So after this, we end the webinar, I will give him a gentle nudge and remind him that those need to be up. And tomorrow, within 24 hours, I'll actually probably wait until this webinar, it goes through its conversion process, and send that to him, and then have him put all of them up. So it might get up today, but will definitely be up by tomorrow afternoon. And the link in the email that you will receive will bring you right to this page. Now, normally when you come to the page, the webinar from today would be the first link that you would see here. Sprinkled throughout, they also are putting some marketing tips throughout here. That's the short ones, but all of the 1 hour videos are all webinars. And you can come back, and there are past webinars as well. I still feel like there aren't that many, but I guess it's because during October and November, all of those were through Webinar Ninja, and they've made it extremely difficult to get those videos. So go back if you do have time. I know saying if you have time is like winning the lottery, but if by chance you do have time, watching some of the other webinars on the same topic, I start out, my apologies for the noise. It is about 60 degrees in the south right now, so I do have the door open. So I apologize for the outside noise. But different webinars, I start out each webinar going, having a core couple topics that I'm going to go through, but based on the questions, they can lead us in different directions. So one of, the other webinars about automated social media, the intermediate sessions might go over, somebody might have asked a question in general about the platform that we didn't go over or nobody asked in this webinar. And I do try to incorporate all of them, but doing all the webinars. We get a lot, so sometimes all of the previous questions don't get mentioned or incorporated. So if you do have time, take a look at those previous webinars. And that is everything that I have for today about automated social media, the intermediate topics. If you have any questions after the webinar, please feel free to reach out to the support team or to myself. Again, my email was included in your confirmation for the webinar. And you can also, I need to get back to the control panel. Get rid of this. I want to just show you in case, I know we do have a lot of new people that are new to the Agent Studio family on the webinar. I want to, again, welcome you. I've been with Agent Studio for 4 years now. I wouldn't go anywhere else. And I think you'll love it. Don't get frustrated sometimes. And one tip too, because we have so many new people, I'm actually in Auburn. Mishra is asking where I'm at in the South. I'm in Auburn, and I do spend a lot of time. Eventually, I would like to have a permanent place in St. Pete, Florida, but I do like month-long rentals there various times throughout the year and go there and stay. But I like the atmosphere, especially during football season. I love being around Auburn because it's infectious. Now the basketball team is doing great, so I'm all about that atmosphere. What I was mentioning about don't get discouraged if you're new, especially with your website and setting it up. My website is very detailed, and it's a constant work in progress. When I have spare time, you know, my website, I love the way it is now, but there's more that I want to change about it or add to it. And I'm constantly updating how I want to showcase suppliers and, you know, how if the supplier doesn't happen to be on our platform, you know, how do I want to market for that supplier because it's one of my favorites. So it is a work in progress. It's not going to happen overnight. So don't get discouraged as far as, you know, customizing your website. It does take time, and it's an ever-changing process. So it's always ongoing. So just don't get discouraged. And in the control panel, Agent Studio Academy for those that are new, and some people, you know, sometimes you don't venture down that far to see what is down. You get to whatever section you need to in the control panel, and that's as far as you go. But you can see a list. I've already started working on the list of courses for February, so they'll be added probably in the next week or so. And you can sign up for future webinars here. Thank you. Mishra is hopping off. You're very welcome. Definitely bug away. That's what I'm here for, to answer all of your questions. Thank you everyone for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully I will see you all on another webinar. Have a great day, everyone.